Welcome, everybody. John Zager. Good morning. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Here it is Monday morning, 9 o'clock here, Colorado Eastern Slope. Been kind of busy this weekend, doing a lot of stuff, getting caught up, getting some work done. Took a day off or so from blogging and podcasts, and that's okay. It was a good idea to do that. Drinking some fresh coffee. It's half and half, you guys. Don't get alarmed. So my topic this morning, actually I blogged on it, but I used shame and healing as kind of a catch phrase at the top. But it's really guilt and shame / healing. And I guess what I'm thinking about, what I've been thinking about in observing people this weekend, I had some really good conversations with people. And people that, I don't know, for whatever reason, wanted to talk. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. And got talking about healing. And, of course, the first thing that comes up is that people seem to say, I'm very much interested in healing, and I do this, and this to enhance my healing. Physically, emotionally, spiritually. And I say, cool, that's really great. And how are you doing with that? and most of the time, they all say, well, not so well. and they're apologetic. Oh my God, are they apologetic? Like I'm a priest, right? Not. and it's like, oh my gosh, I don't want you to think that I do a good job all the time, because I don't. And I just kind of ignore that part and don't respond to it. I don't try to say anything one way or the other to make them feel more guilty or less guilty or whatever. And I get into talking about just science, because I'm not trying to counsel them. I'm not trying to do therapy with them. I'm just trying to have a conversation and observe, what their views are and what and how they do to deal with that. Healing. And so I stay with the science all the time, and I go back and I'll redirect the conversation to, maybe diet and, the latest research and a TED Talk physician up in Canada who just discusses, how people with terminal illnesses that go to natural food, organic food, plant-based food, stuff like that, without any preservatives and whatnot, are healing themselves and not dying, and they're still alive, and they're supposed to be dead, and the doctors are wondering, why aren't you dead? And then people will talk about, well, I do that, I eat. I had a funny thought. It's like, well, they almost want to say, well, I eat grass out of my backyard. But they don't. What they say is, they try to eat natural food with no preservatives and chemicals, and they stay away from beef, obviously, that has been contaminated and will kill you if you eat it, practically. fish in the ocean are dying left and right. You probably don't want to be eating fish anymore. It seems like that's not getting any better. Frozen food section, canned food section, full of preservatives, salt, and contaminants. But pretty soon we're going to have to start eating the grass in our backyard as long as we don't put pesticides on it. But anyway, so the conversation goes on in that realm of trying to heal yourself of different things, emotions and physical stuff and spiritual stuff. And conversation this weekend in a couple, 2, 3 different examples led to, well, I'm not of the best behavior. No, I'm not a priest. I'm not hearing your confession. I don't want to hear your confession, right? But the conversation will go, I'm not of the best behavior all the time. Well, me neither. Gosh darn it, humans, as near as I can understand, and I'm not sure that I have a handle on it any better than you guys do, but, my understanding is that we kind of screw up probably more often than we should. And when we do that, our vibrational level and our energy and, all that kind of stuff just plummets. And how can you have health track you down? How can you have a strong immune system? How can you not get the flu? How can you not be sick more often than not? How can you not have ill health? If you're making bad decisions more often than not, right? And everybody always wants to, I don't know if they preface it or if they do say it, if it comes out of their mouth, they justify it, I guess, or rationalize it that, they're just having a good time and they're not trying to hurt anybody or whatever. I don't even know what the hell they're talking about. But so here's my spin on that. And the reason that I guess I brought that up this morning is that I don't see people running around being Mother Teresa. And I don't know if you're supposed to be. I don't think you're supposed to be. I think you're supposed to care for one another, right? And enhance the other person through empowering them, inspiring them, putting thoughts into their head and actions that make them feel good about themselves and people and life in general. But I don't see that happening. I see a lot of people, including myself, that think well, plan somewhat well, have good intentions, but life doesn't always go that way, right? Sometimes we take a wrong turn and we end up with, as the topic is today, guilt and shame. Now, sidebar, me and sidebars. If you're Catholic, right, you're brought up to feel guilty. So you feel guilty about everything. It doesn't matter what you're doing, where you're doing it, or why you're doing it. You just are going to feel guilty. Catholic Church makes you feel that way. Go to confession, will you? And feel guilty. Say 3 Hail Marys and 3 Our Fathers and you're fine. Go figure that out. What's that about? I think back when I was a kid, and this is still on the sidebar, but, you do some kid stuff, sowing your oats, and you'd go with your head down to the priest and go to the confessional and confess your sins and you feel just terrible, right? Oh my God, did I really do that? Am I really saying that to this guy? And the priest says, say 3 Hail Marys and 3 Our Fathers, and you're absolved of your sins. Really? That's all I have to do? That's all I have to do, and I'm absolved of my sins? Okay. Well, I'm going to go back and do that again. How much worse can it get? I have to do 4 Hail Marys and 4 Our Fathers? I'm joking, and I shouldn't be joking. I apologize, you guys. It's Monday morning, and I'm not looking forward to... I hope it rains today or something even more. But it has to do with conversations we've had before in these podcasts. And that's that we get addicted to our emotions. Right? We try the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. I didn't realize this was going to be so funny this morning. So the error, misjudgment, wrong calculation, wrong behavior, well, maybe I'll just try that miscalculation one more time and see if I get a better or a different result. No, you're not. So does that mean I have to feel more guilt and shame? Yeah, probably. People have a hard time giving up old beliefs. The perceptions you get when you leave home. Because mom and dad and the adults, that were teaching us growing up, and what we observed and watched, we probably should have not. We should have not observed and not watched, right? Because it was not healthy. I think of some things when I was a little kid that I didn't try to observe them. They just happened to where I was observing them. Good Lord, at this stage of my life, I wish I would have never been exposed to that. Or, for whatever reason, when you're a little peep and there's certain things that are said to you one way and then you see behavior the other way, it's like, at this stage of my life, I think, well, gosh, wish that didn't happen. Because what it does is it leaves you with some negative beliefs and perceptions that some behavior and thought is negative, harmful, and destructive. And for whatever reason, you saw them do it, so it'd be okay if you do it. Well, no. That's not how it happens, and that's how you get a cold. Oh, God. Maybe I shouldn't do this podcast. What I'm trying to convey is that we're human, right? We make mistakes. We are not always on our best behavior. We have awful and horrendous thoughts from time to time. Not blowing up the Empire State Building, but, maybe looking at the neighbor and having a thought, about the neighbor or something like that. I don't know. I guess men and women can do the same thing, right? And there's another point. I guess I do want to make this point, is that it doesn't matter if you're male or female. You're human. And you're going to have wrong behavior and wrong thoughts from time to time. And you're going to try to go back and have the same wrong thoughts and wrong behavior, hoping you'll get a different result. So, anyway, when all that occurs, for those reasons, it's pretty hard to have a higher vibration or energy level to be connected to the source, the creator, your God, the universe, where everything is love and oneness, wholeness. Think about this for a moment. Think about this for a moment. Healing, self-healing. And again, there's steps that we talk about that can get you to be able to self-heal from disease and get rid of it, not have it. But wouldn't you agree that being connected to the universe with that overwhelming sense of love from your Creator, from the universe, has a powerful healing effect and does play a huge part in your healing? Let me take it one step further. I told a story maybe 6 months ago. I don't remember. I used to tell more stories. I don't tell as many now. But so there was this research that was done, and this was a single mother in the projects with a son, and the neighborhood was full of crime and violence and not good stuff. And the mother just wanted her son to turn out well. And hopefully go to school. Go to high school. Go to college. Become somebody. Accomplish something in life. Have a happy life. Not do drugs. Get involved with the wrong people. Or get killed. Right? So, from the time the little guy was a little guy, Mom used to tell him every day, as she was getting him dressed and, all through grade school, and actually she told him this all through high school even, that you can accomplish anything you want in life. And that you're going to end up in a very good school, and you're going to end up in college, and you're going to make something of yourself, and you're going to become successful and happy and prosperous and abundant. And she told him all the positive things that he can experience, and nobody can take that away from him. And she was trying to just, offer an alternative to what's outside the door when he walks to school. And what a great mom. She did that every day as we listened to the little guy, now a man, talk about his mother and what inspired and empowered him. And he gets all through grade school fine. They get to play, I don't know, what did he say? In the inner city, I think they let you play basketball. No football, very little baseball. And his grades were good, and he got into high school. Of course, everybody in the inner city goes to public high school, and I don't know, if you read books or watch the pictures or the news, it doesn't look too inspiring, but got through it without any mishaps or any harm to himself. Played sports and graduated pretty high up in his class. And in I think it's the third year, he applied to go to college. And everybody pretty much did not apply to go to college. Some applied to go to, community colleges or technical schools, or they just dropped out and started working. But this guy decided to follow his mom's wishes and desires, inspiration and everything, and he applied to go to some really good schools. So, fourth year, you get your letters back if you get accepted to a college or whatever, and which ones, based on who you applied for. And he gets accepted to Harvard. Unheard of. This is a guy that had every thing against him based on his neighborhood, and where he was raised, and his mom was the only thing that got him through, and she never gave up. And he ended up graduating from Harvard, and to this day is well known and a prominent business person. But the point I guess I was trying to make with that was, this mom didn't have a formal education. She didn't go in for treatment or anything like that. But she believed in her God. And she believed to such an extent that she had the power to heal her son and perform miracles, which she did. So I'm not sure that we all need to have every single step in order to heal from whatever emotional, physical, spiritual problems that we have. And that belief in a greater intelligence can do wonders. So, even though we make mistakes and maybe get addicted from time to time to our own unhealthy thoughts and behavior, we always are forgiven and encouraged by our greater intelligence in each of us to continue going forward and healing. I think that's an important point to remember. And I left my blog kind of in a negative state at the end. You can go read it. Remember, it's jzager at blogspot.com. But we are humans, and we keep going back over and over again, expecting a different result. And I guess what I'm saying in the podcast now is a little more positive, with the story of the lady and her son in the projects and how he turned out. We don't need shame and guilt. I believe we've been forgiven. I believe we don't need to carry that around. And we are entitled to being human, making mistakes and sin. And continuing to work towards our own self-healing and not to give up. Not to give up. Keep going forward. So, I guess I'm just acknowledging that we're all human. And that no matter how far down we might actually think we are, we're not out. And we just regroup and try not to do the same behavior and have the same thoughts again and again, expecting a different result. I wish you guys well this week. I hope it rains all day today. Sun's just coming out. It's been so hot here. The summer in Colorado has been terrible. Hot and humid. Very little rain. It's cool right now because it's cloudy and overcast, but I don't know how long that's going to last for. I think one day, and then we're back to the heat again. So God bless everybody. Take care of one another, and I look forward to talking to you all again real soon. See you. Bye.